Hello, happy Sunday, and thank you so much for joining me. My word, have I got an awesome hour planned for you. Can I just say this is my second live Craft with Sarah today. We've been busy crocheting some little poppies earlier, and now we're going to be doing some Christmas stamping. So I'm just, can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, give me a big thumbs up if you can all hear me. I'm going to have a little look. Can you? No, they can't hear me. You can't hear me. No sound. Yep, you can hear. Can we all hear me now? Can everyone hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yes, right. Okay, so we'll wind that back and we'll start again. Hello everybody, happy Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me. Right, I was just saying this is my second live Craft with Sarah this afternoon. I've been busy doing these lovely little crocheted poppies. Very different for me to teach a crochet class actually. If anybody was in there, give me a wave if they've done my crochet poppy class. And we've got some Christmas stamping planned for you now. So we're going to do at least 2 Christmas cards. I'm going to teach you some Christmas stamping technique, well, some generic stamping techniques, how to get some perfect stamping stuff. And then I'm also going to show you how to do some slightly different cards. We'll just do some takes on some other, you've got a pack of card and envelopes in your kit, and we'll walk that through, and I'll show you how to do some other different styles of cards as well. Now, I always like to, this is called me fluffing a little bit at the top, which is given all those last minute stragglers time to kind of get in and just get settled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you all up on the screen so that I can see everybody here as well. Right, give us a wave, everyone. Yes, I love seeing everybody. Can I just tell you, this is like been a career highlight for me now, getting to do these live classes, because you know, before the pandemic, I used to be able to go and teach a class with like 20, 30, I think the most I ever did was about 50 people in a class. However, now I can have hundreds of people from all over the world at the same time. And what I love is, what you don't realise is, I'm sitting looking at this. So when I'm crafting live, I've got all of you guys in front of me. So I can see how you're doing. I can see how everyone's getting on. You can keep giving me a little bit of a wave. So for me, it's just kind of like being live. So it's lovely to see everybody. Right. If you've got the kit and you're going to be crafting along live with me, or if you've already got these products, hold up your kit so that I can see everyone who's going to be crafting along live. I know some of you just like to watch and basically join in for the crack and a little bit of chit chat. Will be plenty of chit chatting today, I can tell you as well, guys. Awesome. So actually most people are going to be crafting along live, but don't worry if you're not. If you just want to watch and chat and then you want to make these cards later, whatever you like to do at your own pace. The big thing is though, this is your hour. You've committed to take the whole hour out to hang with everybody else and to hang with me. So if the kids come running in the middle of it, I always say like if the dishwasher's just fit, it's all going to wait. It's all going to wait. We're going to have a whole hour just to kind of take a little bit of time for ourselves. Now, I will tell you, so bear in mind we are recording this class so that after we finish we can send it all out to you so that you can watch it back at your own pace and always have it to keep, okay? Also we might use it in like little promotional videos if we're showing other people how the classes work. Now, if you've left your video on, I'm going to take it as a given, I'm going to take that as read that you're okay with that. So that's you giving us your authorization to use that, okay? If you don't want to do that, right, if you do not want to be in the video, what you need to do is down in the bottom corner, you'll see that you've got mute and unmute and start video. So if you don't want to be, if you don't want other people to see you, turn your camera off. So turn off the start video. That way we won't see you and you don't need to worry about being involved or whatever, okay? Just some other housekeeping while we're here. If you are like me and you like to see everybody else and you want to see everything that's going on, you want this view here, which is called gallery view. And you change between views up in the top corner here, okay? So that top corner you can change from gallery view to speaker view. Speaker, folks, is me. So if you put it on speaker view, you're basically going to have me writing big, whether it's your laptop, your iPad, your phone, whatever it is you're on, you're just going to see me nice and big. So maybe when we're chit-chatting or whatever, you might want to see everybody. Maybe you just like seeing me all the time. Whatever setting is best for you. And then the last thing I want you to know about, the most important bit, is the chat down here. Yes, there's a lot of chit-chat going on today, right? The good thing is, This is a nice, easy, relaxed class. So we've got loads of time for chit-chatting. Now you can chat with us by sending your comments through. And I've got the iPad here. I'm going to be reading all of your comments through and chatting along live with you. Or if you've got a really great question, maybe you might want to come and chat with me live in the studio. And what will happen is, if you put a really great question in there, one of my team might message you back privately and say, do you want to come and ask that to Sarah, and we'll bring you up on the split screen. So if we do, it's all right. If you don't want to, doesn't matter, don't worry about it. Still ask you good questions. You can just say, oh no, thank you, don't want to do that. But if you want to come live into the studio, beamed via the magic that is Zoom, just give us a question. Your question could be about stamping, it could be about the crafting we're doing today, it could be about my samba last night, it could be about anything you want. Basically, we've got an hour to craft and chat along at the same time. I promise I'm going to share loads of great stamping techniques, but I've also got loads and loads of gossip, whatever you want to chit-chat about as well. So that's how we're going to roll. Get your questions coming in on the comments. I'd also love to know how many of you this is your first Craft with Sarah class, or if you've been doing a few of them, which ones you've been really enjoying, if there's any techniques you're really hoping to learn today, any areas you struggle with, and I want to know all of it. The more you chit chat, the more I'm going to be able to chat back with you guys as well. So I think I've given all those last minute stragglers time to get in there. I'm going to come through. I've got my cup of tea at the ready. Notice how I've hidden it behind here. You think I'm not having a cup of tea? So I've hidden my cup of tea behind here, and we're going to start. I don't even need to hide it. We're all friends here, aren't we? So I'm going to start and walk you through what's in the kit, and we're going to start with some lovely basic stamping techniques, okay? So this kit's brilliant. These are the cards that we're going to be doing. They're super easy to do. You cannot fail but get a fantastic result. And these are brilliant. For example, maybe if you do it like I like to do with our Oliver, my 7-year-old, I like to do Christmas cards for all the kids in his class. And this is a nice, easy one that I know he can easily do there. All right? So, nice, easy stamping technique. We're going to do a little bit of colouring as well. So I'll teach you how to get this lovely shading that we've got on here. You've got 2 different stamps in your kit. Can I just say we've been very overly generous. Those of you who've got the kit, there's a lot in this kit. Okay, so you've got 2 stamp sets in this kit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some basic stamping techniques. Once we've got the techniques, I'm going to show you some lovely colouring techniques. Then we're going to make it into a card. So I think I'll start with that first season's greeting one. So you've got the stamp in the kit. I want you to take the stamp out, and these are great quality photopolymer stamps, these, which means they're going to be really nice and crisp when you stamp them. So we're going to take the stamp out, take it off the backing paper, keep these though, because we're going to put it back on after we've finished. And then I want you to get out, this is a rocker block. So we're going to put it on the extra large rocker block, and we're going to get a lovely stamped finish. So can you see, for the benefit of those who are brand new to all of this, okay, you basically want to have the raised side facing up to you. So the sticky side that's flat, we're going to put right in the middle of that block. And can you see it's got like a line across the centre? You're going to try and line up the centre of that line with roughly where you see the centre of the stamp is. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have the season's greetings right in the middle. Now, what I'll do is I'll just get a sheet of card out. So we'll even put you some card in the kit here. And we're going to stamp a couple of times. I'm going to stamp 3 onto here, just so I can show you the technique 3 times. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just pop our little stamping mat underneath, because it just helps you get an even nicer finish. If you don't have one of the stamping mats, don't worry, you can do it on a flat surface. It'll still work just as well. Here we go. So we've got this. I'm going to use the ink pad that comes in the collection. Now let me just have a look. I've sent you a flagstone one. Should I get some flagstone? I haven't got my flagstone under here. I'll open this one so that we're all using exactly the same stuff, right? So, nice flagstone ink pad. Notice on here, you've got the alcohol-proof dye ink. The tri-blend pen that we're going to colour with in a little while is an alcohol-based pen. If we're using an alcohol-based pen, we're using an alcohol-proof ink pad. That's quite advanced stuff, that. All you need to worry about is if you use what comes in the kit, everything's going to work, right? But if you're using these things another time and you try and use this ink pad with a watercolour pen, or you try and use this pen and a water-based ink pad, it's not going to work, okay? But if you're using everything from the kit today, everything's going to work beautifully well, right? So, some basic stamping techniques, folks. Here's what we're going to do. We've got our ink pad. We're going to take the lid off, and we're going to take the ink to the stamp. Now, I know this seems really simplistic, but when I first started stamping, I always thought you did this, right, and picked up the ink like that. That is actually really difficult. It's much easier if you have the stamp, turn the ink pad over, and then you can see exactly where you're pressing all of that ink. Can you see we've got loads of ink all over the background there? So loads of ink all over the background. When it comes to working with rocker blocks, all I need you to do is make sure you don't get ink on these two raised rails here, right? So lots of ink in the middle, no ink on the raised side parts, but plenty of it on, okay? And then what we're going to do now, I'm going to get you to watch this from the side, guys, right? And I'm just going to go straight into the middle. So if you're watching from the side, can you see we're going to rest on this part here, and you've got the rocker blocks are curved. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands there. I want you just to put your fingers in the centre, and I'm going to go, let's have a little look. I'm going to hold in the side, and I'm going to rock from heel to toe, right? Now you don't need a lot of pressure, and what you'll get is a perfect transfer like that. So let's just do another little one of those again, right? I'm going to take the ink, and I'm just going to ink up, taking the ink to the stamp like this, and I'm going to get all of this plenty inked up. And if you do get a little bit of ink on this side, in fact, I'll put some on just so that you can see what happens, and we'll trim it off later, all right? So you get loads of ink on, and then we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to rest on the heel, and we're going to go from heel, rock to the toe. Now, can you see we've got this little back smudge mark across the top? That's because I got ink on the top. So that's what you're going to avoid doing. You're always going to rub it off. If you've got it on the top, you're going to rub it off there. Now, for any of you who haven't used rocker blocks before, let me just take a second. My dad invented these. When I was younger, I was always taught you never rock a stamp. We were always told the same thing, weren't we? You should just put it down flat, don't rock it, because if you rock it, you get a shadow effect. And I told my dad this, and he was like, well, that's just ridiculous, because if you actually had a proper curved surface, you could move so that you only have the pressure in the bit that you need in the certain place. So he designed the rocker blocks, and this is something that my dad designed and developed, and we actually have patented, so that we are the only people in the world who have curved blocks like this. They're the only curved blocks that you have. Right, let's have a little look. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring this round, and I'm going to do this on this side. Yes, here we go. So I'm going to rock from heel to toe. I think I can just about trim that. Yes, because look, I've got 3 there ready to go. So I've got 3 ready to go, and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in with the trimmer, and I'm just going to trim all 3 of them, so that we can then mat and layer these up. So look at that, right? Oh, I can just, look at me trying to squeeze as much as I can out of every piece of paper. There we go. All right, so I've got 3 of these. I'm going to trim off where we did that little bit of a boo-boo at the top, and then these are ready to start and do our little bit of colouring with. Now, I want to see from everybody, I want to see how your stamping is looking, guys. Because if one thing we're going to get perfect today, we're all going to get some perfect stamped images. So I want to see everybody stamping so I can see how everyone's getting on. Right? Now, while I'm letting everybody get to this stage and get all of those, maybe you want to get all of those, I'm going to give you a chance to get 2 or 3 of them stamped up. And while you're getting 2 or 3 of them stamped up, I'm actually going to take my first question. Now, I'm sure I recognise that face. I definitely do recognise that face. Give me a hello, me dear. Lovely to see you again.
You got off all the green. Oh, sorry.
Right, go on. We've got you unmuted. I've got off all the green makeup. Yes, let me tell you, it took a team of 3 makeup artists about half an hour to get all of that green. For those of you that don't know, last night when I did Strictly Come Dancing, I was dressed up as Princess Fiona from Shrek, the big green version Princess Fiona. So I had loads of padding up here, loads of padding round here, and I was green with a prosthetic nose and little prosthetic ears as well. And yeah, it took them 3 or 4 hours to get it on. I then sweated in it all day, and I'm surprised I didn't sweat it all off, to be honest. But no, it took the team a good half an hour, 3 of them, to get it all off me last night before I then had the 4-hour drive back up home.
You looked beautiful, though. You really did.
Oh, thank you. That's the look we were going for. Beautiful, big green ogre princess.
You did a great job.
Thank you so much. Can I just say as well, for those of you who are watching over in the US and obviously can't watch the show live, as soon as it goes up on YouTube, I'm putting the link over on my Facebook page so that you guys in the US can all watch. Brilliant. I just wish you guys could vote. I would be relying on your vote. If you could vote, that would be perfect. If we could get you all voting from America, I'd be sailing through to the finals, wouldn't I?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
I have
Right.
a question.
Right, I'm ready.
Okay, so I stamped already a couple. And
Let's have a little look.
the season greetings one,
Nice.
I'm doing pretty good.
You are indeed.
But the have yourself a merry little Christmas is not as crisp.
Oh, I think it looks all right. Do you want me to walk you through the should I get the other one out? And should I walk everyone through the technique live?
Yes, please.
Yes, brilliant. Right, let's have a little look. I'm going to take this stamp off and we'll do the have yourself a merry little Christmas. So, what you might find as well is I'm obviously using the Rocker Blocks, and with the Rocker Blocks, as long as you use the Finesse ink pads, you're going to get lovely. You're going to get a nice, you're going to get one shot at it, but you're going to get it nice and crisp, hopefully, right? What I will say is I'll do it once for you with the Rocker Blocks, and then I'll show you a trick. Have I got my 8x8 stamping platform under here? I do. I'll show you with the 8x8 stamping platform too. Right, let's have a little look. So, bear in mind if these are brand new stamps and you're using them for the first time, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stamp them 2 or 3 times first of all to get them, and then your 4th or 5th will be nice and crisp. So if it's your very, very first one, just give yourself a couple of goes, right? So here we go. I'm going to take that and I'm going to stamp that on the side here. And I'm just going to give it a nice press in the middle as we come through. Oh, do you know what I've got? Can you see that little smudge? Yeah, that's because I pressed my finger on here. You really don't need to. Let me just show you. I'll do another one on the other side just to show you how you really don't need to. So if I just get my ink going down there, that's actually, given that this was a brand new clean stamp then, that's come out quite crisp. So if I stamp on the bottom here, stamp that round, by not giving it a push down, I've got that quite clean and crisp. You did want the technique though, how to get it even crisper, right? If I just trim this in half, so I've got a slightly smaller piece, let me show you, those of you who have our 8x8 stamping platform. Now I sent you the Rocker Blocks because I wanted all the newbie people to be able to get a whole set and work on this for the first time. But watch the difference when we use a stamping platform, okay? So I'm going to pop these into place. I'm going to take that stamp off the Rocker Block, all right? And I'm going to pop this right in the centre of here. So there we go. Pop that down. Oh, try not to get it on. Now, if I pick that up, right. Oh, look at this. I'll turn this over. Now we'll have a nice clean one. There we go. So, nice clean sheet. I'm going to ink this up and I'm going to do it with the stamping platform because I want you to see the difference that you can get by stamping multiple layers if you want. So we turn it over and you stamp it down once, all right? And that is kind of the level of crispness that you could get. I mean, that's quite crisp. But if you want it even sharper, when you're using the stamp platform, you can go and give it a second layer of ink. So that second layer of ink, what it's going to do is it's going to sharpen it out and make it even deeper, all right? So now when I stamp it, look at that. Now it's really good. You can see the difference on how it stands out, can't you? Let's have a little look. I'll stamp one more. So that's a double stamp. Let's go and do just a single one here. And then you can see, these are brilliant as well for if you're needing to stamp, you know, if you're doing 50 Christmas cards all the same. And we'll go, if I ink this up. It's also brilliant if you miss a little bit, you can come back and just stamp the bit that you missed. So here we go. One stamp with the stamping platform. There we go. And then if I put the two side by side while you're on my overhead, you can see how much deeper that one is, isn't it? So great technique. If you like it to be nice and dark like this, you're just going to take two, you're going to stamp it twice and it'll give you a lovely crisp finish. What you can't do is stamp it twice with the rocker block because you'll never get it in exactly the same spot again. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. What a great question and a lovely little bit of gossip at the same time.
Yes. Take care.
Oh,
Bye.
thanks for coming through. Anybody else want to come through with any questions, guys? Just ask away in the comments box and I can take any of your questions live, no problem. Right, here we go. So, let's go back. Where's the 3 I'd cut out? Lovely. Right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them to zoom in nice and close on the greetings. I'm going to get my tri-blend pen out and we're going to start and we're going to do a lovely little bit of colouring. I'm going to teach you some nice deep tri-blend colouring. Let's have a little look. Brand new pen here. Let's get it out of the packaging. There we go. Right. Right, here we go. Now, great tip for you guys. If you're colouring, what I want you to do is pop another sheet underneath, right? Another sheet of alcohol paper underneath, and it just helps your ink move a little bit better. Now I'm going to work with the dark red. So this is the one that those of you that send for the kit, this is the colour that you'll all have in your kit, okay? And it's dark red 1, 3 and 4. So we're getting deeper as we go along. So watch what I want you to do. First of all, I want you to start with the lightest one, guys. And I want you to colour all over the whole thing, right? So doesn't have to be too neat because we're going to be going over a little bit more at this stage, but I want you to colour all over the background there. So we've got all of it in and we're going all down there. And what it's doing is it's giving you a lovely little base of alcohol, okay? So you don't have to get it perfect, but we can get it all nicely coloured in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut to the very, very darkest one. And anywhere where we would have shadow, we're going to put the darkest one in. So what you can do is you can just follow me. I know we'd have shadow behind this front bit. So I'm coming right along here. I'd have all of that shadow coming down there. I'd have some more shadow coming behind this one. And I'd have more shadow coming behind that one. So can you see anywhere where it's in the background, it's going to be shadowed. So put the shadow in first of all. We've got the dark one. I'm going to see if we can get even closer still on this so you can see, guys. There we go. So we've got the dark in. And then once we've got that dark in, I'm going to cut to the medium one. And at the medium one, we're going to go over the edge of the dark one. More on the dark than what you've got on the light, okay? So all the way over the dark one. And what that does is it bleaches out the darkest one. And then we come back to the light one and basically fill in any gaps and just take them all back together. So can you see there we've got that lovely nice ombre of the dark through the mid, through the light. I'm going to do exactly the same down in this bottom corner, right? So we're on this one here. So we'd have darkness underneath here. So I'm going to come all the way along there with the dark one, right? Then you'd have darkness behind this one because that's in front. And you'd have darkness behind there. So anywhere that's behind, just think about it, it's going to cast a little shadow, isn't it? I might just put a little bit of darkness down the bottom of here. And then from the dark into the mid, so just taking through that mid one, same down here, taking through the mid one. And then once we've got the mid in, we're going to come in with the lightest and blend everything together. Now, the reason I chose red, guys, you're all thinking, oh, she sent us a nice red pen because it's nice and Christmassy. No, red's the easiest colour to blend with. So I sent you all the red, knowing that you would get nothing but brilliant results. Let's have a little look. Now we've done the banner bits in the background. I'm going to do the same around the greetings. So I'm going to start with my darkest one. And I'm going to come in from the side. So coming along the top and down the edges here. I'm putting that dark one in. You don't realise quite what a gradation difference there is between them, do you not? Until you start going through it like this, like that, right? So coming in from the side, coming along the top there, down the sides, and I'm going to bring them in just a little bit more. There we go. So I'm doing that. And then I'm going to go from the dark into the mid. So So the mid, remember with the mid, you're going over the edge of where the darkest one is. Over the edge there, and then taking it a little bit further. And what actually happens is, in the lighter colour, there's more alcohol. And the alcohol bleaches out the pigment in the darker colour. So you get that ombre effect. And then we're coming with the very lightest one. We're going to do the same again. We're going to use the alcohol to bleach out the edge here. Get it all bleached through. And there's that lovely finish to it. There we go. All bleached right out. And then when we've got to there, you can see it's even lighter in the middle. So just to blend it through, I'm going to just go right over the centre. And what that does is it just gives you that lovely, like, lightest shade and shades it back through. What I'm going to do is, we've got a couple of these because I stamped a few, didn't I? So I'm going to just come in with my next one. And I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to just colour in that greetings, but I can do it while I'm taking another question live. So I believe we've got a caller ready to come in the studio and chat with us live. So it's the same technique, guys. You can either chat along with us or you can do what I'm doing and start colouring in your next one. We're going to do a little bit of colouring, and then after I've taken my next question, we can ask, once we've taken some questions, we can start and do some actually making them into cards. So, who have I got chatting to me live now? Karen! Hey, Karen!
Yeah, we chatted while we were doing the last class making the poppies.
We did. How's your poppy looking, Karen?
To be perfectly honest, Sarah, I need some practice.
Hey!
I'm going to go back and do the class again.
But how, do you know what? You've got onto the second colour there, Karen. Do you know, that is a lot. If this is brand new, which you said it was, how brilliant that you've been able to get, that's a good halfway through.
I learned from you that what I thought was a double stitch is actually a treble stitch.
Well, I think that's, Karen.
I've been calling it the wrong thing.
Well, I think that's because you're in America and they have a different name for the stitches in America than what we have in the UK.
That very well could be. That could be.
But you know what? If you're going to be crocheting with me, you might as well start picking up the lingo, Karen, and we can do it all with the English lingo.
I think so, Sarah. I think so. And I'm
lovely.
Doing the stamping and the coloring. But I wanted to ask you, since I'm in America, I don't get to see your dances live. I have to wait for someone to post a YouTube video. So how was the samba? Because if I recall, you said you preferred the ballroom dancing to the Latin.
I do. I much prefer the ballroom. So if I show you, so this feels very natural and elegant for me to get into the, well, hang on, this is what Aliesh tells me I have to do, right? I have to go up, round, inflate, open up, and then take the head. I'm going to show you how and take my head back like this, right? That feels really normal. And then I can do all sorts of steps, right? The samba, and I'm wiggling me hips and stationary samba walks and voltas like this and shaking me bum. Really didn't feel natural at all to me. In the slightest. It was a little bit like, so I don't know if you know, but week one that I did the show, I did the cha-cha-cha, which is another Latin dance, and I actually was at the bottom of the leaderboard. So 15 couples danced, and I was the very worst score of all of them. And then all the bookies were saying, basically, I'm the favourite to go out in week two. I was absolutely distraught. And then week two, I worked my little socks off and came in with my ballroom dance. And I went from the bottom of the leaderboard where I scored 17. I doubled my score. I got 34 in the second week. And I was top of the leaderboard. Nice. So now everybody's really excited. But then week three, I have to come back in with a Latin dance. And not only, because you've got to alternate like Latin and ballroom, not only another Latin dance, but the samba, which is like notoriously one of the most difficult ones. I assume you must watch Dancing with the Stars over there as well. It'd be the same format.
Exactly.
So samba. But it was movie week this week. So we danced to one of the songs from Shrek. So I got to be Princess Fiona. So they made me all up. I was all green. Like I said, I had the prosthetic nose and everything. And I did, so I did the samba dance to Princess Fiona. But I got wonderful comments from the judges. I got 4 7s, which I thought was a really good score, especially for a samba. And so, yes, so now I was kind of, on the leaderboard, I was right in the middle at halfway. There was like 2 pages of leaderboards and I was just at the bottom, but on the first page. So that was a good place to be. And then we go into the dance-off tonight. So tonight, Yes, so tonight it's they combine the judges' scores with the public voting, and the bottom two couples have to dance off, and obviously only one of them will make it through. But I'm halfway up the leaderboard, which is a good place to be, so at least I get like a good chunk of points from the judges. Then you've just got to rely on everyone to vote. And the voting closed last night, so you just get like a little window to vote. So yes, it's exciting.
It is exciting. I commented on one of the Facebook feeds that I thought you were living your best life doing this.
I am indeed. Honestly, it's brilliant. But trying to juggle everything. So tomorrow we start training. If I make it through tonight, tomorrow my training starts at 6 o'clock. And I'm doing 6 o'clock in the morning through till about 2 o'clock. And then I'm live on Crafters TV from 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, because it starts birthday week. You got a lot going on.
It is. It's going to be a big, busy week for me, a big, busy week. So,
well,
yes, thank you so much.
I'm ready to go all the way.
Thank you so much, Karen. I wish you guys could vote.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you for your comment, Karen. That was lovely. Oh, it was lovely to hear from Karen. Right, how's everyone getting in with their colouring? Should we have a last go over this colouring? Should we colour another last little one in? I'm going to show everyone that technique again, just for anyone who's brand new to this, okay? So remember, you get your base of pen down to start with. Then where we would have shadow, you're going to come in with the very, very darkest shade. So I'm coming right along there. We'd have shadow behind here, and we'd have shadow all the way along there. So anything that's behind, it's going to be in shadow. Then we go from the darkest to the very mid one. And the mid one, the idea is you're kind of going over the darkest one again. So you're coming in with the darkest shade, but taking it kind of the next level down. And then you come in with the very lightest one and blend that all the way through. Okay? So blending that all the way through. So there's my top part. And then I'm going to do the same with the bottom one down here. So this is a little bit different. So I would have shadow behind here, because this one's on the front, right? I'd have shadow behind here, because that one's in front of it. And then also underneath there. And then I like to take a little bit on the bottom, just to give a little bit of movement. So there's my darkest here. Take dark into the mid, and blending that round there. Told you this would be a lovely class to do this one, guys. It's just nice because everyone can take it at their own pace. Some of you might be on your third colouring now. Some of you might be just getting through one. We only need one to make the card, but it's nice to be able to share the techniques with everyone for how to get that brilliant colouring in, right? So there we go. Now, there we go. So we've got the perfect blend. Then I'm going to do the same on the greetings. So can you see we're going to come down the side, and then we're going to come across the top. And I like to do a little bit and then take it out a little bit further on the sides. Yep. Same down here, we're going to come down the edge. This is why the tri-blends are so brilliant, because you don't need to worry about what goes with what. It's all in the same pen, okay? And then we're going to go into the medium one here. And then we're going to blend into the next one, right? Now, after we've done the colouring, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show everybody how to make it into a card. And then we'll have a few more comments on the iPad and see what everybody's been saying. And I think we'll be able to take another live question. So if you've got any questions, guys, get them in now. We've got about 25 minutes left on this class. Time to do a little bit more colouring. Get these made into some cards as well. But still time for plenty of gossiping as well. Right? So there's our season's greetings. Now let me just show you the one that we did before. And as it starts to dry, the alcohol evaporates, and you can see how you get that lovely shine across the front of the greetings, okay? Right, let's start with a nice simple card, should we? So here we go. Let's get one of the cards and envelopes out of the pack. So your actual base card to start you off with here. These cards are 4 by 6. So they're 4 by 6, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take a nice matten layer. So all you do is you get your coloured card that we've sent in, and let's pick a nice bright red to do the matten layer with. So if we're 4 by 6, we need to go a little bit smaller for this one. I'm going to bring the guillotine in, and this is the easiest way I find to do it. So if we're 4 by 6, you want to go one little notch less than the 4, and you want to go one little notch less than the 6. And that's going to be a lovely matten layer for on the front of your card. Oh, I think we want to go a tiny little bit more off there. There we go, maybe it's 5.5. Yes, there's our lovely matten layer to go on the front of the card. And then we're going to trim this one down to go smaller on the front. So I'm going to start trimming it as tight as we can take it. So there we go, 3.5 will be a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to come right tight to the bottom. And it was 4.5 was there, sorry, 5.5 there. Let's have a little look how that's going to layer up on here. Yes, perfect. So I've got my perfect matten layer. And can you see, just to make that into a card, all I'm doing, a little bit of tape. This is perfectly normal, by the way, guys, those of you who are colouring for the first time. It should bleed through to the back. That's how you know it's spreading and moving perfectly. There we go, you've got that lovely matten layer, and I'm going to take all over the background there, and we're going to lay that on the front of the card. So while you're doing your matting and layering onto the front of the card, I think I'm going to start and go through a couple of questions. What I'll do is I'll give you all time to get up to that stage. I'm going to come back over to the, let's have a little look, to my wall. I've got my iPad, I've got loads of questions. I'm going to have a little look. So, first question coming from Ellie Price. Ellie Price is asking, what is the best paper or card to stamp on? Now, if you're doing the stamping like what we're doing here and you're going to colour, so if you're wanting to colour with your alcohol pens, you absolutely want to be using our alcohol pen paper or alcohol pen cardstock. Or in the UK, it's Nina is the brand that we have of cardstock. And that's because the paper is pulped in a special way. It's really super smooth, which just lets that ink merge all over it. If you're not doing colouring and you're just wanting to stamp and maybe you're using like your inks on there or something like that, just the white stamping card that we do is a really great grade of cardstock to give you a nice thickness. And if you're wanting to do watercolour, then surprise, surprise, you're going to want the watercolour cardstock. Now, definitely don't use watercolour card if you're colouring with alcohol pens, because watercolour card's a little bit like cotton wool, and it'll just soak, it'll just ooze all of the ink out of your pens. Your pens won't last anywhere near as long, and you won't be able to get a great blend. So watercolour card with watercolour, Nina card with your alcohol pens, and if you're just stamping, maybe you're using your inks or you're like using our water reactive inks and dragging the colour out, you're going to just use the stamping card. So, great question from Ellie. Right, thank you, Ellie. Have we got any other questions that were coming through? Someone's saying they've gone over the lines. Juliet said she's gone over the lines. Can you correct them or make them disappear? Juliet, if you have our blender pen, that will allow you to do that. So if you go out the lines a little bit, red is not very forgiving, I'll be honest. So red's not a good one to do this with. But if you do it with one of the lighter colours, all you need to do is put another sheet of card underneath of the alcohol pen card and get your blender pen and push the ink back into the line. And what it does is the more you push the ink, oh, I've got my hips going now. The more you push the ink, it bleaches it out and it just blends it right through, and it'll soak right through to the underneath sheet of cardstock. What I also do if I've gone out of the lines a little bit is I get a light colour. So your IG1, for example, is one of your greys, really nice light colour. You can go all around the edge of your coloured image and it just takes the starkness off the outside and it hides a multitude of sins. Right, one last question. Karen is asking me how I enjoyed the dance last night. Karen, I absolutely loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Oh, that was Karen. Do you know, I wonder if that was the same Karen that I just chatted to, was asking how I enjoyed it. Oh, I think it was a different Karen. We've got a couple of Karens on today. We've got loads of you on today. I'm going to get you up here anyway as well to see all the different people that we've got. I've also got Susan ready to come in live to ask a question. So should I get Susan up on here actually? There she is. Hey, Susan. Lovely to see you. Susan. Loving the pinny down here, Susan. Loving it. I'm really good, Susan. How are you?
I am fabulous, Sarah. How are you?
Really good. A little bit tired, I'm not going to lie, Susan. I only got home at about 4 a.m. this morning. I had to be back up at 8 a.m. It's been our Charlie's 5th birthday party, so I've had 15 5-year-olds screaming all morning, and then I've come into work for a bit of a break to chat with you guys.
Well, happy birthday to Charlie. And first off, I wanted to say you were fabulous last night. I saw your dance. So I actually have a way to where I can watch it. So I get to watch it live. So that's awesome.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, you'll have to teach everyone how you do that because I know loads of other people are wanting to know about that.
It's actually really simple, and I'd be happy to help anybody that wants to do that. The only
Brilliant.
downside is I don't get to vote because I would
I
vote for
know.
you as much as I could.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm relying on a lot of our crafters here in the UK to hopefully keep me through every week, because I tell you what, I'm having the absolute time of my life. So I do rely on all you guys to vote me through every week. So yeah, sending huge hugs for everybody who did vote last night. So right, did you have a lovely question for me?
I do. So I have an issue with cutting glitter cardstock. So I can't
Right.
just get it fine. It always comes in, it has like jagged edge or something like that. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong to cut the glitter cardstock.
Ah, right. Is it our glitter cardstock you're cutting, or
Yes,
is it a
it-
different
No,
glitter
I
cardstock?
only use crafters cardstock.
I love to hear that. Love to hear that. And what are you using to cut it with at the moment? What guillotine or paper trimmer or whatever is it?
Well, it's not the guillotine. I can get a cut there. It's when I run
Yes.
it through the die cut machine. So I don't think I'm using the correct sandwich.
Right. Okay. So it's when you're die cutting it. Right. So here is a brilliant tip for you here. Okay. So irrespective of how intricate your die is, if you're cutting glitter card, I would suggest adding in your metal plate, because what it does is it just gives you a lovely crisp cut finish to it. And if you think of how tiny those little molecules are in the glitter cardstock, if you're cutting with a die onto a metal plate, it's like using a lovely sharp new pair of scissors. So what the sandwich I would have is, I would have my base cutting plate, then put your metal plate on top, then your glitter card facing upwards so you can see the glitter. Then have your die facing downwards, cutting through the card into the metal plate. And then you want to have your frosted plate, your magnetic plate, and then your top cutting plate. And if you use that sandwich, I promise you'll get fantastic results. You let us all know in the Facebook group. Are you in the I'm a Crafter's Companion Facebook group?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, listen, pop in the I'm a Crafter's Companion Facebook group. Let me know how you got on cutting the glitter card. And also, if you let all of our other American friends know how you're managing to watch Strictly Come Dancing live on a Saturday night. If you let them know this afternoon, they can tune in live for the results show, which is 7:10 UK time tonight.
Will do. Thank you very much, Sarah. Have a
Oh,
great day.
thank you for your lovely
Bye.
question. Thank you so much, Susan. Lovely to hear from you. Oh, do we think we've got time to go and do one last card? Yes, let's go and do it. Tell you what I can do as well I can get a mouthful of tea on the way past. Yeah. It's gone cold now, but you know, story of my life, drinking cold tea. Do you know, it's always funny, isn't it, when we're live on Crafters TV and we get half a dozen cups of tea brought to us during the course of the show. We never have a cold cup of tea on Crafters TV. The lovely John's been in today backstage helping with them. So they're live in Studio One, Crafters TV, and then obviously I'm live in here as well, chatting with you guys. So busy, busy. Right, let's have a little look. I've stamped out the Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. So why don't we take that one, trim that down, do that colouring, and make that into a slightly different type of card. Right? Here we go. So I'm going to stay on there. Let's have a little look. Remember what I told you to do. Put another sheet of cardstock underneath so that you can do a lovely, lovely blend. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the lightest. So all over Christmas, we're going nice and light and taking that all the way out. And I'm just going to get plenty of colour into the back there. Now, I always start with this lightest one. Different people have different techniques for using alcohol pens. This is like the Sarah Davies way. There's no right and wrong, just different people will give you different techniques. I like to put a base of alcohol down, then start on the darkest one, and wherever you would have shading, I'm going in with the darkest one. So I'm coming right underneath here, taking that shading right down and taking it right out to the edge there. So there we go, there's the darkest one. Same underneath here. I'm coming down there with the dark shade, blending that right through and up the edges and darken here. I'll do the middle of this last, okay? And then I'm going to come to the middle one. Now, I do have to just give a shout out to Jan Jameson. So what is it you guys were telling me about Jan? Jan is crafting along in the car. She's that committed. She is literally crafting along live. There, you didn't think I'd seen you, Jan, did you not? We've got you, Jan. Jan, I'm sorry. Show everybody Jan. He's Jan. Yes. She's live in the car. Jan, that is absolute commitment, Jan. Oh, I hope you're going somewhere important, Jan. Now that is when Sarah's doing a live class and you don't want to miss it live, Jan, isn't it? And you're like, you know, I've got to go somewhere. I'm taking you with me. I love it, Jan. Oh, absolutely. But hey, big shout out to your hubby as well, who's been chauffeur for the day. I bet he didn't expect to make it onto national TV there, did he not? I love these. You guys, honestly, crack me up. Make my day. You really do. Right, let's have a little look. I'm going to come right round from the edge here. So, a little bit up the side here. Once we go up the side, we're going to come along to the top. Yep. Blend it, and a nice one along from the bottom. Same here. So we're coming along from the top, blend it down the side, and bringing it right in from the bottom. And once you've got to that stage, then you're going to come in with the medium one, and we're going to just do nice little circular motions and take that one right through there and blend it right up to the edge. So you can see, you can't see where one ends and the next one begins because we've done that perfect little set of blending. There we go. And then last thing is we come in with the very lightest one, and you're just going right over the very lightest one. This is where it doesn't matter if you didn't go right up to the edge before, because you can go in and get all those little bits and pieces. As long as you've got the base of colour down with the alcohol, it's going to blend beautifully. And I think what I'll do is I'll do the same with Murray. So all over with the lightest one. Yep. Once we've got that in, we're going to come in with the darkest one from the edges. So just taking that in there. Bring it right down from the sides. Yes, there we go. And the same from here along the edge. Now, you won't have to rush as much as me, guys. You know what I'm like. I always like to go 50 to the dozen. You can take your time and get your colouring in absolutely perfect, and then make sure you don't go out the lines like I have, and you don't need to go around it with an IG1 at the end of it. You've got to remember as well, I colour in for a living. So I do everything at speed. All right, here we go. So I've got that nice little bleach across the middle. And then actually, you could always take, if you just want to, because the fine nib is so fine, you could always get a nice little bit of colour going through. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Perfect. And I'm going to do the same with the very lightest one on the yourself, because the nibs on these are so beautifully fine. They're just going to work an absolute treat. So we've got that nice shading. And then what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to show you how we do a slightly different version of a card, so you can have something a little bit different. So there we go. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, right? So I'm going to start the next one. I'm going to get the card and envelope. And I'm going to bring this in here, and I'm going to get the matte and layer perfect first of all right? So I think I'll have a different shade this time. What's going to go with red? I think yellow in the background would go beautifully with the red. So I'll get the yellow. Now bear in mind, I'm going to just measure this properly this time. So my base card is just over 4 inches by just less than 6. So I'm going to bring this to exactly 4 by 6 3/4. I believe that should get me a nice matte layer to go on the front. Yes, it does. And then if we bring the one in that I've done, so this was now 1 notch before the 4, and what was it? 1 notch before the 4. So 1 before the 6 and on the 4. So I'm going to come the width of 1 notch before. Here we go. Let's have a little look. So I'm just coming to the width of 1 notch before the 4. Yes. And then I'm going to trim this down. You see, there's nothing technical. I'm not giving you the exact sizes here, remember. I was just going and saying, what was this one? 1 notch before the 6. So now we need to be 2 notches before the 6. And that should give me the same all the way around. That's all you're aiming for, is to get the same matte layer all the way around. Now, what I'm going to do this time is be a little bit different. So I'm going to do my matten layer onto the front. But instead of just sticking it flat on the card, watch what we can do here. We can bring the card in, and you can actually fold back the front panel of the card. And this is just called a fold back card, all right? So I fold back the front panel of the card, and we stick this onto the front. All I'm doing though is sticking it on the first half. So can you see that? Just sticking it on the first half. So instead of putting tape all the way over, just stick it on the first panel, and then that gives me a stand-up, like a Z fold type card on the front there. And I actually think that's going to look way more professional if I also do another little matten layer on the inside. I might do a little bit, I might take another layer of the yellow and put it on. And then, oh, let's take a nice little bit of the orange. Right, while I do this matten layering, in fact, no, I'm going to do it first. I can't measure and craft at the same time. What did I say we were going to do? We went one little notch, no, we went exactly on the 4, and we went one little notch before the 6, which means I'm coming one little notch before the 4, 2 little notches before the 6, should get me a perfect matten layer. There you go. And if any of you have got the nesting dies and want, oh, that's run out. Nesting dies and you want to go to have a nice new one. You get a new one in the kit, don't you? So we'll have a nice new one. So if you want to use your nesting dies for these, they look even more professional. But bear in mind, I've been trying to use just the stuff that we get in the kit because I've got so many brand new people on today who are doing their Christmas stamping for the first time. This could be the first time ever they've done their Christmas cards. And I want them to be able to see just how easy it is and get started. So here we go, last little matten layer, and then I'm going to take another question. I believe we've got somebody who we've got ready and waiting in the wings. We've got Elaine ready and waiting in the wings. So there's my card. While you're all getting that last card finished up, I think we'll go live to Elaine. And Elaine, have you got a lovely question for me, my dear?
I have, Sarah. I'm a bit of a reluctant stamper because I make so many mistakes, but what you've shown us today has been really clear. My question is regarding cleaning the stamps, because some people don't clean them, some people do, and some of the ink removers destroy the stamp. What do you use, Sarah?
Brilliant. Let me show. I should have one under here. Right. I've had loads of these kicking about since the pandemic started. You know the wipes that are like the multi-surface antibacterial ones? What I find is they're brilliant because they've got like a good strong cleaner in, but I personally don't like to use the stamp cleaning products for exactly the reasons you say. I think they're too harsh. These are so convenient. So if I bring back in that stamp that we've got, I actually, quite often, you'll not believe this, Elaine, I clean my own stamps in the middle of the shows. So, because we've got the backstage team here ready, but I just tend to just give them a bit of a clean, and then they're literally ready to go. So even if I end up coming to use it again later in the show, look, I'm even cleaning the back part off there, and I've got that is perfect and ready to go. And then the same with the other one that we had, just get it nice and clean. But I find that this just takes off all the dirt. What you can do if you're using like clear acrylic stamps like this, you can always go and pop them in, some people like to put them in a bowl of soapy water. Now, when I started, Elaine, I panicked because they're sticky on the back. And I thought, well, if I put them in water, I thought if I put them in water, it's going to lose its stickiness. It actually doesn't, because the sticky isn't applied. It is in the photopolymer when these are made. So you can rub all over the back, because when it loses its sticky, it's not because the sticky's gone, it's because you've got like glitter particles or whatever it's dust particles on the back. I've just rubbed over the back there with my cleaner, and as soon as that's dry, I can see now, yep, that's ready and sticky, can go straight back on again. And it's ready and raring to go. So definitely, I would say get yourself some, but I'm sure you've probably got oodles of them kicking around the house. So you've got plenty of these. So that would be my big recommendation. Thank you, Elaine. Brilliant question. And I hope I've given you a load of confidence to go and do a bit more stamping.
I think so. I've made one, but I wasn't too, I didn't know.
Brilliant.
My colouring. It's all right.
No, I think your colouring's absolutely brilliant. And you know what you can do, Lynn? If you ever are not happy with your colouring, let me get mine out, see if that's not looking too bad, but actually he's the one that I did before, right? If we're getting really close on mine, come on, Adam, give us a close. He's coming in for the jugular, right? I would say, he's right in, no hiding there, is there not? I can still see some of my lines around here, right? You can always come back in, even when it's totally dry, Lynn, you can come back in and blend it a little bit more. Now, don't overdo it just because you'll drive yourself round the bend, not because there's any crafting reason why not to do it. But if you're ever not happy with it, come back in with your lightest shade and go over it again, and it'll re-lighten it, but it will allow you to re-blend. So I'm just looking at that, I'm thinking I'm not quite happy with that. I'll re-blend it again. What I used to do when I started crafting though, Elaine, and Leanne would go mad with me, I'd go back over with the light pen all the time and she'd say, you've spent ages blending that and you've just taken all the blend back out, Sarah, because you've just re-bleached it all. But I was always obsessively after this perfect ombre. So don't be frightened to go back. If you're not happy with it, go back in. But even if it's 2 or 3 days later, Elaine, it'll still work a treat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I do enjoy the dancing. And I'm looking forward to us starting Craftaganza again at some point.
Me too. I can't wait. I can't wait till we can get back Craftaganza. And for those of you that don't know, Craftaganza is that we used to once a year get loads of people together in a hotel and do crafting for 3 days solid, and it was the best. It was the best couple of days. So I can't wait till we can all get back live. This is brilliant being able to do it on Zoom, but it's going to be brilliant to be able to go and do it like that. Now, I've got a last couple of comments before we kind of wrap up for the last one, and I'm going to be really honest, guys. I am going home. I'm going to go straight to bed. Because So, right, a couple of questions. So, Juliet is saying, my tape pen has got a little bit stringy. What is the best way to use it? Right, the glue in these are so ridiculously strong. What you need to do is, you need to pull it along. When you get to the edge, flick your wrist. Yeah, just like when you see me do me stationary samba walks, you're going to pull and you're going to flick your wrist at the end. And what it does is it breaks the seal. Because this is, if you come along and just lift it up, what it does is it'll pull a little bit more. That's what looks stringy. So you're going to go along, twist it, and it'll always break the edge of that one. So brilliant question there from Juliet. I think I've got time for one last one. Catherine G is asking recommendations for easy card tutorials. Right, so our lineup of Crafters TV shows, we have a right mix from advanced to beginner shows. On a Monday, we do our Monday Makers, which is our slightly more advanced show. But on a Wednesday, we have a show called Creative Cravings, and that's at 7 o'clock UK time. And our Creative Cravings show is when we go right back to basics, teach you some brilliant techniques from the beginning. So I would definitely recommend tuning in every Wednesday, or if you go along to YouTube and go to the Crafters Companion page on YouTube and look at the Creative Cravings shows, you'll see all of the nice kind of easy ones to get you started. So, Mindful Colouring is the next one of these that we're going to be doing, which is 5 p.m. on Tuesday. So there's still time to book on if you haven't already booked. We haven't got time to get kits sent out, but I'll hopefully look forward to seeing some of you on Tuesday. If not, go and get yourself booked on, and I'll see you on Tuesday for an hour of relaxation. Have a check out the website. You'll see all the upcoming classes coming, and I'll see you soon on the next one of these.